to make the paint slide a little easier. Get some more wet gesso, some more clear gesso going here. Let me do that. Again, as I usually mention, speed is kind of the essence here. We have all kinds of retarders and stuff for the paint, but I never got that stuff to work right. So instead, I just try and do it super fast. And then that will probably need something to just a very blush of different color in there. And before it sets, I'm going to come back through with this. And then when all else fails, if you didn't get quite enough to on there, just spritz it with something. The only thing about spritzing it is you have to be careful, because sometimes if you don't work it out soon enough, those little drops, it looks like there's little drops on it. It doesn't brush here on there. That's fine. And of course, you don't want this so heavy that it obscures everything, but you want it heavy enough that it gives the feeling of the mist. And I add a little bit more color here to the bottom, I think. Back over here. Oh, there's way more color than I thought on the other side of that brush. It's okay. You'll probably know, I don't know if they still teach this in art school, but the adage, if you can't fix it, feature it. It's looking pretty good. What I almost want to do is maybe lift up, though what it needs is this down here now is too dark. I think it needs a little bit of white in there a bit. This is why you need more than one brush. Okay, when you use your blending brush to add the color, you gotta get a different blending brush. I'm gonna quickly do this. That's pretty good, actually. I don't want to overdo it. Maybe I'll just leave that. Yeah, I like that. Okay, well, I'm going to rinse these out real quick and use this little guy, put him back. And there you have it, mist. You do have to be a little bit more prompt mixing washing the brushes out when you're using an acrylics because they do dry so much faster than oils. I think I might lighten the top of this a little bit too. I want to do that. I'm thinking just right here, maybe just a little bit more white. Let me get one of the brushes I just rinsed out. That won't be too thick then. Okay, maybe just up here in the top. Just grab some of this white. Just so there's kind of a light area. Oh, funny, the paint kind of wore off there near the top. Get some additional white. A slightly thicker brush on there. Just very carefully in a couple spots have the mist a little bit thicker. That doesn't look quite right. Blend that, kind of buff that thing right on out there. There we go, that's somewhat of a lighter area. I don't want to mess up the dark too much here, but on the other hand, I don't want it to look like there's white mist and then this colored mist or something right underneath it. I want it to look a little bit more like a smooth transition between the two. I thought though, I particularly like this. You know, I think you can see just the right amount kind of peeking through there. Okay, so now my next question is, do I want to do another layer of kind of middle ground or just go right for the foreground? And for that, I'm actually looking at some reference photos because I said I kind of switched gears what I felt like doing on this. It's probably the best idea there. It'd be okay to go right for a foreground. The only thing is that if I do that, if I just stick with these kind of two layers, the thing to keep in mind is then this should look, which is one reason why I brought this down, this should sort of look like it's on a hill. There should be a reason why this is so much more forward and darker than what's back there. But I kind of like that idea in general. So I may go ahead and stick with it. Now for that, we're going to have to decide where we want the basic trees for this. And I can either stick with what I was going to do originally or switch it up a bit. That's what I did there. It's kind of, well, that would work, I guess. I think the thing to do at this point, though, is I said just sort of plunge ahead. And not keep sort of just sitting around. What I might do before I start, well, I start with the big trees because I'm going to fill those in later. But then I probably want to do some of the foliage behind the trees. And for the actual big trees, I think I'm going to go ahead and grab a little bit more gesso. I may have to stop after this and let this dry. I'm not sure. The gesso will be nice. It's got a nice flow. Should work well for it. Now that's interesting there. It's kind of got a craggy looking tree. I like that one. I'm looking at a bunch of different photos of trees and stuff, you know, just randomly looking at them, seeing what I like. And this one kind of crags around funny, in a way I kind of like. So this is more of a composite landscape. A lot of them are though, you know, it's hard to get a perfect photo and just paint it exactly, and there's no reason to do that anyway. Like, I'm not sure what kind of tree this is, but it kind of twists and turns. Make sure I do it thick enough on the trunk. That was another difference I found with acrylics, at least with the type I use, or maybe even the style I paint, is that in oils, if you do something similar to this, you can do these trees first, and I guess this is transparent enough that you don't really lose all that. But I found in acrylics you kind of do. And I think the best thing to do is do it like this in layers. You know, go ahead and do the background layer and then come back in and do the darker trees in the gesso. Don't try and save that dark. Just put it in after. Sure these. No reason for this tree to get too spindly as it goes up to the top. But today I had too much going on in my mind. I thought I just need to just sit down and paint for a bit. Let all this stuff percolate in there. I was thinking about changing my web hosting company and thinking about listing some of my painted rocks on Amazon, and just too much in my little head. That's a nice tree. Not too straight up and down. And let's see then, let me see what other tree I want to do. Oh, that's got a little crooked, hasn't it? I thought I'd see what you guys see real quick and see if I needed to adjust it. There, that looks a little better. Okay, now, what was that? Oh yeah, I was looking at photos to see what other tree I wanted to put in here. Go back over here. Add that one to this folder, that way I won't lose it. Could just do a couple straight ones there. Could do a sort of curvy one, a real curvy one. Just looking at it and see what I think. It has some advantages, I guess. We do like a curvy tree here, one that comes over here. Now that's the advantage of doing one a little further back. You know, though, that's okay. I'm just going to do all the ones I think in the black, and then I can always do another layer and make them fainter. That sounds good. Just trying to look for some with some interest in them. You don't want them all straight up and down. That doesn't look right. There's one with a lot of curvy ones. Well, let's see. And I just got this here. Just put some in here. I could sit and think it to death here. It's probably better if I just add some. Like I said, I think I might need to let this dry, but that's okay. I wasn't planning on doing this that long today anyway. So we'll just aim for getting these tree trunks in here. That's one that's going to be a little further back, I think. Oh, okay. And there's one maybe way curvy. And I can even decide later which I want in the foreground, which I want in the middle ground. That you can do easy enough just by switching how far down it comes or how thick it is, or a little both. This black gesso in there. I said I like the gesso. It covers well and it's smooth. You know, it goes on fairly smoothly. Yeah, I kind of like that. Even just as it is. I think I'll put a couple more small ones maybe back here. Nice straight one maybe. Because some of them are very straight. So you have to do them all curvy. And then maybe one that comes more in the foreground. Kind of curves up like that. I'm just doing it this way so that it's not just completely smooth lines. It's funny, that phone call as soon as I started streaming. It's like if you're ever waiting for a phone call and getting impatient because it hasn't come in, just do something, because as soon as you start doing something else, somebody's bound to call. Okay, that looks pretty good. And maybe another small one over here to the side. Kind of balance the composition a little bit. Okay, we have a few more on this side. Have this side a little bit more filled with trees and maybe an open area. Of course, there'll probably be some branches that come over here. We can do that real quick too. Have this guy have like a branch. And further fill up that space. Oh, can you guys, I don't know if there's anybody here. If there's anybody here, I tried to set up the song request in a playlist. Can you guys hear any music? I'm not sure if I did it right or not. Okay, now let me see. Oh, that's interesting. So you can do that. One advantage to trees, and I think I mentioned this before, is you almost can't go wrong. Whatever tree you paint, there's going to be a tree that looks like that. Let's see. Do just some branches. Branches, I often wait and just do them with the regular paint instead of bothering with the gesso. But since I've got the gesso out and stuff, let's see. Well, that looks interesting. Yeah, do that and do like a little extra little branch here. Isn't flowing quite as well with the flimsier brush. The other brush I had has very stiff bristles, so you get a little better flow. But yeah, it's okay because this is just an underpainting. I'm gonna come back with the real paint later anyway. That's an interesting tree there. I don't know what kind of trees these all are, but they're interesting. Got a black pen recently for rock painting. Kind of tempting to use it on this, but I don't know. I should research first what kind of paint is in it, because I don't want to use something that's going to smear or something when I go to varnish it. I haven't really had that trouble, but you know, I certainly don't want to take the chance on a canvas like this. That is looking pretty good there. Let's see if I grab one of these. Oh, look at one. There's one right there. Okay, we'll put some little guys coming off here, I think. I'll be careful I don't drag black gesso on my hand and then put it across there. One advantage to acrylics is you can rest your hand like this after it dries, but you gotta make sure you're not going over where the paint's wet. This I decided I guess it's gonna be one of those little spindly trees, you know. Although who knows? A lot of that depends on how much foliage you put in, whether it looks like a little spindly tree or not. Yeah, big one in front. Would have branches coming off, probably. So now this guy. Sometimes with trees too, it's funny, they can not look quite right, and you just need to put more branches in. Try not to do the branches exactly the same though, and it's harder than you think. I think there's something about the way a person's mind works. You like to see patterns and stuff. So sometimes you tend to be a little symmetrical in your trees. Not that there wouldn't be a symmetrical tree growing in real life, but see now these guys in back, I want to rough them up a little bit like I did there. I think I might. How do these guys look? Bring that down a little bit. Might either do some shorter sessions or some stop and start sessions. I'd like to upload some of these to YouTube as well. And there wasn't an easy way to edit it. I was surprised. I thought Photoshop or something. I mean, if you just wanted to trim a little bit off. But to edit it in YouTube, I have to upload the whole thing. Well, you know, some of these sessions I've been doing, they're hours long. It take forever to upload. And all I really want to show is some little clip or something on YouTube. I thought maybe do some, even if I do a longer session, but I sort of stop and start it just to get some shorter things so I can upload them to YouTube or maybe even Facebook. I don't know. There's various simulcast software, but I thought about that, and I thought, well, I don't really want to do that because then I'm trying to keep track of the different chat windows. And I sort of picked Twitch as the one I was going to do, so I should probably just stick with that. And this one that kind of ran over separate, I think I'll get a little thicker brush for this one. But just sort of not make it quite so smooth. When I put it on there, I thought that was a good idea, but now I'm thinking I want all these trees in front to have some personality. Get some more gesso. I'm going to be doing, I hope to either later today or tomorrow get to do an actual painting lesson for you guys on my technique I developed for Aurora Borealis paintings. And it took me quite a bit of trial and error. And I thought that I usually don't teach per se. I'm usually just painting and having people visit with me. But that's something I thought it might be nice to share that technique for my fellow artists that paint and just, I don't know, something. You should get to a certain age and you just want to share your knowledge, right? And sharing a technique is different. It's not like, it's not like you're painting with me step by step on a painting, a completed painting. That's just showing you a technique so you don't reinvent the wheel. But I really love the effect of the Aurora Borealis. And I saw a good number of oil painting techniques, but I wanted to come up with one in acrylic since that's what I use now. And it took me, I don't know, I want to say 5 or 6 paintings, maybe even more. So I felt like I really had a system down. Like, okay, this is a good way of painting this. So I thought I might share that with you guys. And as you see, I do this sometimes to make it, the paint flows better, of course, off the end of it than it does the other side. So that's why I'll turn the canvas around, because the paint is going to come off the brush easier this way than if I tried to leave it the way it was. And I said I'm just giving these trees a little bit of personality. Oh, see, now that looks better to me. They just look too smooth.